Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to be here today. Welcome to Lipedema Wellness Conversations with Gail. That would be me. And my friend. And our friend today is Ali Lutz. And I know for sure that Ali lives in the Boston area. But I do not know that much about Ali. Ali is a member of our community. I do know that for sure. And she attends a lot of our events. I know that for sure also, but I don't know a lot about her. I'm really excited to find out more about Ali. Also, as you come in, I see that we have Zelda's here from Nova Scotia. Hi, Zelda. And Julie Rosa is here from Camarillo, California. And so as you come in, please make sure that you tell us where you're from. Let us know if this is your first time here. Let us know how much you love us by giving us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube, or a big old heart if you're on Facebook, because the more hearts we have and the more thumbs up that we have, the higher we go up in some type of what do they call algorithm. And we really want the hearts and the thumbs up, and we want to know how much you love us. There we go. We got a heart. We've got 15 people watching so far. And so I want to make sure, just smash that heart. And if you haven't subscribed to our page or our YouTube channel, please make sure that you subscribe so that you can get a notification that we're going live. Anyway, now that I've got that original housekeeping stuff done, I want to find out more about Ali. So Ali, you're a member of our community.
Yes,
Which means to me that you have lipedema.
I do.
Okay. And how did you find out? How did you discover that you have lipedema?
I would love to share that with you, but I would be remiss if I didn't just offer a warm hello to you, Gail, and to everyone who has tuned in. And to add, giving the hearts is not just pragmatic to get our algorithms up. It is so in line with who the tribe is and who Lipedema Simplified is. It is all about letting love lead. It's all about putting, we get all the information we need, but we share it in community, and it's feeling that support. So love leads in this community, love for self and love for each other.
Well put. And I didn't actually ask you to say that.
No, you sure didn't.
You're not a plant.
Nope. Just a friend. Just a friend. So thank you. I really am touched that you wanted to hear my story. That's part of the love, wanting to hear a story. So I was at a conference that's not quite true. It feels like a conference. I'm an academic, so my world is like conferences. I was doing a crash course in German. For my PhD, I had to be able to read German. And so I was at a German language crash course here in the US. And a woman came up to me and said, "You have lipedema." She was just looking at my shape. And this was like almost 10 years ago, maybe 8 now. She said, "There's nothing you can do about it. Except," I know, right? That she wasn't in the tribe. She wasn't in the love. "There's nothing you can do about it except, lymph-sparing liposuction," which I'm traveling. She wasn't even in the German class. She was in a different language class, but she said, "I'm traveling to Germany to have this liposuction, and that's all you can do." She gave me her card. "Call me if you want that liposuction." And I was like,
Oh my God.
So I Googled lipedema, and I was like, oh yeah, this is really making a lot of sense. But really, I couldn't find good information. So I was living in Nashville at the time, and wouldn't you know it, there was a lipedema research study at Vanderbilt. And so I saw a sign, and it talked about lipedema, and because I had kind of been primed to hear that word, I called them, got in the study, and they said, yes, my love, you have lipedema. And I'm going to talk about my symptoms. I mean, that might be the next question. But so this study was looking at, and it had to be in an MRI, which is loud and uncomfortable, but it was so worth it because it was looking at certain kinds of massage to help with lipedema. And so I was starting to get twice weekly massage. The physical therapist suggested I get compression gear. Suggested keto way of eating. Suggested I get in touch with Lipedema Simplified and start finding a network, like that support piece. And my symptoms had been that I was a really active person. Like I was a 2-season athlete growing up, but always had large hips and thighs, like fat around my hips and thighs right around puberty. It arrived and it never left, no matter how much athletic activity I did. But my legs I was in my late 30s in my graduate program, just started getting that heavy feeling.
Right.
And so it was like looking back, it's like the frog in the boiling water. You don't know how bad it's getting until it starts to recede. And it just felt like every day, imagine someone just like injecting a quarter of a pound of concrete into your legs. You wouldn't know it one day to the next, but I found myself like I lived a mile from campus, so I always walked to school. I couldn't walk to school anymore. I would get to the point, I would drive to school, and if I couldn't get a parking spot close to my building, I would like cry in my car and wonder if I could make it into the building, or just have to like steel myself. And it wasn't lack of energy. It was really this heaviness in my legs. My poor, sweet little amazing puppy. You know, at the end of the day, I lived in a 2-story walk up. So she would need to go out, and it would just, I knew I had, and I would do it, but it was like going down and up those stairs again at the end of the day was like impossible. It felt heavy.
Right. So you just dreaded certain activities that you used to do.
But I used to love, just kind of like my world shrunk. And then after this treatment, after 1 week of wearing compression gear, I didn't have a full pain-free day, but I had my first day where the pain was reduced. And I called the physical therapist in tears. I said, I didn't know I was in pain. I thought this was maybe just part of aging. I didn't know how much pain I was in until it went away, that heaviness.
Ali, could you speak just a little bit louder? Just a
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much.
You don't have to yell. just a little bit louder. I know you're talking to me like you're a friend and our heads are together. I know.
Yeah. Thank you. And I hope my internet's not breaking up. Thank you, Teddy, for that comment. So yeah. And then after several weeks, this was a 6-week treatment, I started having totally pain-free days. And then just, as you say, Gail, I started coming to Lipedema Simplified events and just soaking up any information I could get. And really, because of this community, felt the freedom to just try something. I'm an N of 1, be kind of in tune with my body. And that was sort of a healing process to have that relationship with my body again, because that pain has sort of alienated me from it. And I hadn't really listened to it getting worse and worse and worse. So it was a process of just getting to know my intuitive sense of wellness. I guess, I don't know what else you want to, if you want to ask more questions about my journey, but that's where it started.
That's amazing to know that this person you didn't know said, hey, here, you have lipedema, which in a sense diagnosed you, or at least put the thought of diagnosis in your brain. And it must have been shocking and very uncomfortable.
Indeed.
Kind of hurtful, like,
indeed.
What are you telling me? I'm fat, right? How dare you look at my body that way and then judge me? right? Because I
You
think
get it.
we all don't know how to reach out to somebody and tell them, I recognize me and you,
Yeah.
but we know that it's not just liposuction that's going to make a difference in our lives,
Oh,
right? Now,
yeah.
did you ever go to Germany for your liposuction?
I did not go to Germany for my liposuction.
Have
Thank
you
you
had
for asking.
liposuction?
I did have a little bit. So part of this study, it started in Nashville at Vanderbilt University. And then they sent me to Houston, and in Houston, at University of Houston, they were looking at your lymphatic flow. And so they did this, like, it felt like science fiction to me. They put a little dye in my lymph at my feet. And then they put this like night vision camera on, and we could watch my lymphatic system pump. And so they time it as part of the study. And they said, yes, your lymphatic system is indeed sluggish, as they expect to see in ladies with lipedema or people with lipedema. And then the last phase of the study is they extracted some of the fat because they want to look at it. I don't know what the right word is, physiologically, like why is it resistant to diet and exercise? Like, is there a chemical difference to lipedema fat? And so Dr. Karen Herbst did that stage of the study, and she did some, the liposuction just to get the sample. But she said, since I'm already here, it wasn't like a full debulking, but I got some debulking.
Nice.
I really appreciated that. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we were speaking earlier, since that time, because you said that was maybe 8 years ago when you were approached.
Yeah. 8 years ago, I was approached, and then found the Vanderbilt study 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. And so since you've started with the love of Lipedema Simplified, because our events that we talk about, we call them the heart-to-heart events, because we are speaking from my heart to yours. And each of the members who come, we talk with we really are speaking from our hearts to our community. And so what challenges do you now face, and what solutions have you discovered how do you do that when you come up against a challenge? What do you do?
Such a great question, Gail. I think the number one thing is befriending my body. And if I start to feel pain, and that wonderful quote that we always end or start our tribe things with, my brain is blanking on the exact quote, but you can read it.
Well, I'll pop it up here.
Yeah, pop it up. Take your time.
Okay.
There it is. And I said to my body softly, I want to be your friend. I took a long breath and replied, I have been waiting my whole life for this. Naira Wahid. Oh, I love that. So really, that's the framework that works for me is, I think I used to be so alarmed by pain and so like panicked that I was going to get back to that place where I couldn't walk as much as I wanted to. And it like really affected just my life and my emotional life, my physical and emotional life. I think at first I was so panicked when that would start to creep back in, that I would fight my body. And now I've really learned to see it Well, I was going to say, I really didn't want to make this a advertisement for Tribe, but it is because of the encouragement of my Tribe friends. It's data from my body. That my body is trying to give me a message. It's trying to guide me toward feeling well. And so it might be like, oh yeah, I just flew on an airplane. And so after I fly on an airplane, it's going to be like, make sure I do some manual lymphatic drainage. which I've gotten coaching on through this community. Definitely make sure I'm wearing my compression gear. And I also do have a lymphopress that just, I can, when I travel for work for, 2 weeks or 4 weeks at a time, I feel it when I'm without my lymphopress. It's not a lot of pain, but again, I'm much more attuned to my body. So I'm like, oh, here's some inflammation and here's some heaviness, but I don't panic because I know there's like feeling the road to kind of feeling better is truly as close as my next breath. Because we've done all that, right? We've done all the belly breathing and all of, all the guides on lymphatic drainage, and the lymphopress say start with belly breathing. That's where you have most of your lymph nodes. So I've really learned that okay, the journey to feeling better is as close as my next breath. Yeah. And
the journey to feeling better is as close as my next breath. That's brilliant, Ali.
Thank you, friend. And it doesn't mean, I don't want to be Pollyanna here. Things sometimes get worse before they get better, but I can move with and toward the healing and be guided toward the healing, even if it sort of is a circuitous route. But yeah, so I don't want to be Pollyanna about, I know we all have experienced real pain. And I'm fortunate it's ebbed and flowed, and so I don't want to be glib about the reality of pain, but somehow breath is really key to me for staying present with hope.
Right. And it goes back to befriending your body.
Yeah.
And we have people here on with us today. Marcia Cathcart. I think I'm saying that Marcia's from Texas. I don't know why I want to say that. Yeah,
well,
she is.
Karen said she's from Houston, and Karen, I can try to remember the name of the doctor there who does lymphatic stuff. But anyway.
Right. And she's looking for help from that. But I see that Marcia today says, I feel pain in my legs today. And Marcia, our heart's with you. Because we know how awful it is. Sometimes we have pain every day. And sometimes as we've managed our pain, all of a sudden it's like, oh, why are my legs heavy today? Why do I feel like I'm dragging these guys around today? And we so often get angry, or we get scared, like, is this where it's going to be now? Because it's been there for so long, right? And so when you said feeling better, getting better is just the next breath, I know that I have another breath. I have something I can do. And you take that next breath and use our, befriend our bodies. And that's so difficult as those of us with lipedema and other chronic illnesses, because we're like, why is our body betraying us? Why, so we have those questions. And yet in your voice, I hear hope. I hear encouragement. I hear not a, there's a coming to terms, but there's also a sense of peace that things can be better, that you're not alone. And it's such a outreach to us in the community that you turn. I know you've turned to me with questions when we've had conversations, private conversations. And yet you can also turn to our community and share your experience and help our other community members, and they'll help. It's like you say, it's the spreading of love. And so as we talk about community, what is something that you find that you get from the community besides that you can reach out every day and like pull a heartstring to you?
Yep.
What is that?
Besides the heartstring, because I've already said that. Yeah. You want something else? Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
let me say, Gail, you helped me. I've never thought of it this way before. You're helping me see something that's actually really important to me, which is it's not only we talk about N of one, like I'm the only member of the study about my wellness, and I need to, the keto way of eating works really well for me. I have to combine that with FODMAP because of IBS. And so it's my way of eating, and I know what makes me feel, I'm learning what makes me feel well, what doesn't. And when it doesn't, I'm like, okay, good to know. But what you're helping me, so I just want to sort of explain what N of one is. And if other people, if that's still not clear, we could explain it more. But also you're helping me see that the goal, I get to say what good feels like for me.
Oh,
It's
yes.
not an external. It's not like, okay, good. Managing your lipedema is if you look like this or it's like, I get to say what good feels like, which feels so freeing. And so for me, good is just if it's even a teeny bit better, that is just a win for me, and I'm going to take it, and I'm not going to have an external benchmark. I'm going to be in relationship with my body to set that sense of well-being together.
Right. And, we've been working with Nina Manelson. A portion of the community has been working with her on body peace. We just had a CSIG on body peace, and I hear so many of us, every single one of us has a relationship with our body. That's because here we are together, right? Me and her, we're here together, right? We have this relationship. I really want not to have a toxic relationship with my body.
Right.
I want a respectful, joyful, no matter how tough it gets. I want to respect her. I'm going to listen to her.
Yep.
She's going to be with me my whole life.
Yes.
She's already been with me for 62 years.
That's right.
So that's and I always want to say women, but it's not just women, but so many of us in our community have been discounted.
Yes.
And we discount ourselves.
That's right.
Our families discount us. Our community discounts us. Our doctors, our caregivers, right? And so it's time for us to stop discounting ourselves.
Yes. And I have internalized this message from our culture that change happens under threat.
Oh, yeah.
Change happens if I yell and threaten and have an external standard and an external judge and a police officer in my head. And I'm really learning that's not how change happens. And it happens, So I didn't want to cut you off. Were you going to add something?
No.
So some of the things, you asked what other technique, or in addition to this like heart community, what else I get from this community? Tons of great technical information. So about lymphatic drainage massage, like how to do that. The Dr. Leslyn Keith, all that she offers about here's what we're learning about lipedema. It's about a connective tissue thing, and it's about that intercellular matrix, and here's what we're learning, and sort of understanding then why keto way of eating might work for some of us. So that like that critical understanding helps, just helps me stay engaged, and and then the movement with Miranda. And so movement with Miranda is what would you call it, Gail?
Well, it's We get together 5 to I know, right? First of all, I see a lot of my Miranda ladies here.
Hi, Miranda friends.
It's we do a stretch, we do a classical stretch, but the way she does it, she talks about the fascia. She talks about relaxing to be able to strengthen ourselves. We need to relax. So we do these stretches 5 days a week. And before the 23-minute stretch video and after the 23-minute stretch video, we have we call it a schmooze, but it's a little bit of a social 15 minutes. So we have a chat. We have a chitter chatter with each other. And then we come back afterward, and some of us have to scoot right away because we don't have a lot of time. But others of us, sometimes we hang out for another hour, I mean, I've been on there for a good hour. And so movement with Miranda it's a coming together of minds and then working our bodies and loosening them up and strengthening what we can strengthen.
Yeah. And I love the movement because it's about connective tissue and classical stretch. It's not like, do a sit and reach and hold it as long as you can. It really is. It's just such a lovely mode of stretching. It really has, I think, is part of why I've been able to decrease or continue to keep my pain at a low level. And my Miranda movement with Miranda friends, you got to tell the truth when your friends are here. They've called me out because I haven't been in a while. But I will say, I probably would never do it if I just had to do it alone. There's something about, I know my friends are there. I know they're doing it. It's on my calendar as it's not just, I have to find the internal willpower to do it. There's something about, so, even just the things that get scheduled through this community that I know meditation is at this time on this day and Miranda's on this time at this day. And then those can be so regular. Even if I don't come every single time, it helps me get there. It's like it's like a pull because of that regularity that I know the community is holding space for that. So again, it doesn't push it all on the individual. And then, really the big events are real highlights. Like when we do, the conferences, the virtual conferences that come up several times a year, those are a highlight. Right. So those are kind of like those big boosty mountaintop experiences, get fired up. But then there is this regular rhythm to hold, like for helping to live into it and make it a way of life and a habit of life. Even if you don't do it perfectly every time, it helps sort of emphasize the times you do it instead of the times you're like, I didn't do it again today. It's like, I get another chance tomorrow. Every day but Tuesday and Sunday.
Right? And Julie, one of your Miranda friends, one of
our Miranda,
says it's so true. And I don't know if you remember Francine Poza, but we call her pom-poms. And she says, yes, that's me. We call her pom-poms because, let's see, here it is. We call her pom-poms because she used to come to our events with her little paper. She'd cut little paper pom-poms and she'd shake them. Yay! Cheer us on.
We need that.
So we do have members here from our community. And the beauty of the community is that we know they're out there.
Yeah.
We know they're out there. And if for any reason we want to make a connection, we have community members in New Zealand and in Australia and in South Africa and all over Canada, the United States, all over the world.
Yep.
And in the middle of the night, if you want to reach out to one of our community members, either they'll wake up for you or they might be in the middle of their day. Yep. Right? Because this affects us worldwide. And when Catherine says, I want somebody to come play in my sandbox with me, she did this. She created a community, and that community is what steers us now. It steers us. For example, we have this event coming up in March. We're in March, at the end of March, right? On the 31st. And I'm so sad because I don't get to go. But I'll be on a cruise, so nobody really feels bad.
No one's thinking you're that sad.
Right? But it's March 31st, April 1st and 2nd. And it's called a Heart to Heart. It's one of our Heart to Heart events. I'm going to post the save the date right in front of us, right?
Great.
It's called A Fresh Take on Lipedema and Lymphedema Solutions, a heart-to-heart collaborative 3-day virtual community event. And everything that Ali's been talking about, everything you're talking about, Ali, is about community. And it's about collaborating with people. Our events that we do now are all about the community. So many events that we can go to are just recorded. You can get a lot of information from just a recording, but think about the information and the solid understanding you can get when you can actually participate and talk to others. For example, I might be in a room with Ali and we'll just have a conversation and dig around and stuff, right? Or maybe I'll be there with Ali and Francine and Marcia Cathcart from Texas, and we might all be there together in a small room, in a breakout room, discussing something and getting the meat and the substance. That community involvement is what makes our lives better. So that otherwise we're just listening to info.
Yep, 100%.
And listening to info is great, but processing it with a friend,
yeah.
Oh, it's so much bigger.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that. I love that there's a little, like, not proverb, but joy shared is doubled and sorrow shared is halved. And that this is a place where you can share your sorrows, you can share your joys, and people carry them with you. And I think you said it earlier, it really breaks down that isolation that I really felt with lipedema. Yeah, it can be very isolating. And at first you almost don't want to be seen and are afraid to be heard. But once you take that risk to start sharing, it's pretty remarkable. And I thank you everyone for saying hello from Norway and Michigan and Ontario, Canada. It really, it's making real these, like, it's, there's nothing worse than, especially when I teach online, like feeling like I'm talking into a void, but this really, thank you all for being active in the chat. And there was, if Teddy is still here, Teddy asked, I think, about what is a lymphopress.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Okay, so no, first of all, no, not yet. Hold on. First of all, I do want to let the audience know that I put the link to sign up for our Heart to Heart. I just put it in the comments. I want to make sure that they see that. And then with that said, yes, let's talk about what a lymphopress or a lymph pump is and how you particularly use it.
So I don't even know, how do you describe it? You put on it's new. Do they call it pneumatic?
A pneumatic pump.
It's a pneumatic pump. So I put on like this big set of pants that are made out of like winter parka material.
Yeah, ripstop.
And there are and they go from my toes, wrap around my feet, and I zip into them all the way up to like just above, right around my belly button. And I lie down, and they have tubes going into them. Then a garment. Thank you.
Thanks, Manetta.
I feel like I'm playing that game like Password. Like you have to describe a thing. And so then the pump is this small pump, and it pumps air in and out. And so it starts at my feet and inflates and then goes all the way up. So it's pushing that lymph that's gathering, and that's where the heaviness comes from. It pushes it all the way up to my abdomen, where you have most of those lymph nodes that can help process it. And it's a medical device. And so if you can fight, it's expensive, but if you can fight to get your insurer to cover it, or I had one of those health savings accounts and my employer paid into it. And so anyway, just by hook or by crook, if you're still having at the end of the day heaviness in your legs and arms after, even wearing compression, it's been a game changer for me, but I realize it is expensive. And I do also want to say I had a lot of pain reduction, even without the lymphopress.
And that was from massage, correct? Massage and keto?
Massage, keto, and compression. I cannot say enough about compression gear. So much so that, I work in Haiti and I work in all these warm places, and people be like, you wear those in the heat? And I'm like, oh yeah. If you have been in that much pain, it's like putting on those compression gear, even though it's such a process, is a joy compared to feeling that heaviness at the end of the day. And I got fitted, and it's really this sort of trial and error, what works best for you. I went to like those stores that sell like diabetes equipment, like a pharmacy with compression. So I got fitted by a professional, and wore those like pretty serious compression, for a while. You didn't need a prescription, but, serious compression, which also you can spend your health savings account on if they're above a certain, grade of compression. And that helped a lot. And then now I'm experimenting with other brands that like I can buy online and things like that now that I kind of know how the sizing works. Anyway, so it's a journey. So don't give up, don't get discouraged. And the nice thing about going in person, the owner of the store was so kind. If they didn't fit quite right, he would take them back with no stocking fee. Or no restocking fee, where if you order them online, it's a little bit more of a hassle. So it might be worth, in some cases, going to a brick and mortar store with people who specialize in this, at least to start.
Yeah, like a medical supply house.
That's it.
Yeah, I know. Around here we have one called Norco. I don't know if it's just a Northwest brand of a store, but so you got custom fit without a prescription?
No, they weren't custom. I got into a regular, like the what were they? Gosh, my friends, I'm so sorry. It's been a long day. But no, I fit a standard size, because if you need, custom made, that gets pricey very quickly. But I was able to fit one of the standard sizes, but it's so like I wasn't, what they measure and how they understand. They're not like anything I've ever had to buy before. And different brands have different sizing. So having an expert, like someone who really measures people for these all the time, orders them all the time, was really helpful to get the correct first set. And then, as I say, after I realized what a difference they made, I could start playing around with, what kind of compression? And, we, at a lot of our tribe meetings, someone will say, oh, I like, the CZ Salas ones, or anyway. So but to start with compression, I think it is helpful to go to a medical supply store, and you're not obligated to buy anything, but they'll measure you. And if you don't like their vibe, leave and go to another store where you like the vibe. I found a very kind medical supply person. Good fitter means so much.
Right. We have.
Thank you, pom-poms.
Yeah. Thanks, pom-poms. It's interesting, because someone told me that a good fitter is worth their weight in gold. And it's really true. So many of us have a difficult time getting a good fit in compression. And so finding a good fit if you have to go custom, or even if you don't have to go custom, finding a good fit makes a difference, because you will only wear when you only wear what is comfortable, because you're not supposed to be in pain. You already are dealing with pain. This is supposed to ease our pain, right?
Exactly.
And Winetta says, I just got a new pair of CZ Alice leggings, tighter. Now, I don't know what that means, that they're tighter than the other ones, and now they feel good, you know, you know.
Oh,
But that's another thing. We don't wear, you can wear your compression until they aren't compressy anymore, right? And
yes.
so we do need to make sure that we're able to update our compression, either as our body changes or as our compression loses its elasticity. So we do need to make sure that we take good care of our compression
That's
and
right.
wear it if it helps.
If it helps, wear it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've also really, through this journey, have learned to speak up when something isn't right. And it's really not good to suffer in silence. Like compression can cut off circulation. And so to say, like, no, that's not quite right. And I'm so sorry. You just spent time measuring me and ordering something, but I can't keep this pair and I need help. I've really learned how to speak that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ali, for everything that you've been sharing with us today. It is so nice to have you here. I'm glad we did this. Before we go, I would love for you to share with us the one message that you would love to have echoed around the world.
Feeling better can be as close as your next breath. Let's go with that one.
Okay.
Because even if your next breath, if you don't feel relief, I can almost guarantee that you won't find your way to relief if you don't keep breathing. So keep breathing. You need breath to use your voice. So use your voice to reach out, to ask for help. So yeah, feeling better is as close as your next breath.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Ali. And with that, I want to share to that community, you are not alone. There is hope. We are here for you. And we have continuous love.